Welcome, everybody. We appreciate everybody tuning in for this virtual tour series we've been doing of colleges around the country. Today, very excited to have two guests with me to talk about SUNY Brockport. I think I've been familiarizing myself with it more lately and really impressed. We have a video that we'll show of it as well, but I think our two guests who have one in admissions, one as an assistant coach, Nina Lacombe will talk about the school and I think offer some good insight, and Mary Mazzella, who was a CFES employee for a while and did a great job at some of our schools here as kind of a college and career readiness advisor, and now an assistant coach there. So I'll let them kind of introduce themselves, talk maybe a little bit about how they got to where they are today, and then we'll go into a little more specifics about the college. So why don't we start with Nina?
Hi, my name is Nina Lacombe. I am an admissions advisor here at SUNY Brockport. I've been here for almost 3 years in admissions. I've recruited in Albany in the capital region, and then now I just switched to our Rochester and local markets. How I got to this position, I actually went to SUNY Geneseo for my undergraduate degree. I got my degree in biology. I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist and realized along my path that that was not the future that I wanted. And I fell in love with student affairs and with the college environment. So I went on for my master's degree in student affairs and higher education. I worked in res life for a little bit, and that's led me here to admissions.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, how about you, Mary?
Awesome. Yeah. I'm Mary Mazzella. I am the assistant women's basketball coach at SUNY Brockport. And in addition, I am a graduate student in the Academic Success Center, where I am getting my master's in athletic administration. How I got here, well, I started at SUNY Oswego. So we got a lot of SUNY schools repping here, where I got my undergrad in human development with a double minor in athletic coaching and sports studies. Wasn't totally sure what I was going to do with that degree. I played 4 years of college basketball, so I knew I liked basketball and sports. So I kind of bopped around and did some different things until I landed at SUNY Brockport, where I fell back into working with higher ed and student athletes, both on the academic side and the athletic side.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's just hearing both of you and a lot of other people we've talked to. You kind of have a pathway, and it can go directions you didn't expect necessarily, and that's fine. Tell our students all the time, good to have an idea of where they want to go, and then if it changes, I think, what is it, the average student changes their major in college, it's 3 times at least, I think. I think that's part of it. We tell students, when you go to college, you're gonna get exposed to such amazing classes in all these different areas, and you may discover something you didn't even know you thought you might like. So to me, good to have a plan, but I think it's also good to go. There's no better place in college to kind of get exposed to all these different options. But yeah, I'd love, Nina, if you can give us kind of some background and your presentation a little bit on SUNY Brockport, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to start today with a video for you all. So let me get this put up. All right. So here we go.
When you're trying to figure out what college is right for you, there are a list of questions to think about.
Am I making the right choice?
Do I know what I want to study?
Do I fit here?
Other colleges are going to throw out promises
that their students graduate on time, they all find jobs, and no matter the cost, it's a value.
Or they're going to use buzzwords like
competitive,
visionary,
innovative.
But are they? Can they prove it? Brockport doesn't throw out buzzwords for show. Since 1835, we've earned the right to use them. We're the SUNY of opportunity and engagement. Our alumni network is stretched across a variety of fields, with top executives at top companies. And according to a piece in the New York Times, Brockport is tackling the college dropout crisis by making sure students are supported from the day they start here until the day they graduate. Brockport is about building community, and we do that by engaging with our students in a way that inspires excellence and transformation. We let you be you. We're not trying to be cliche. It's just how it is. It's who we are. As an institution, we believe that learning doesn't just happen inside the classroom. Here, you have the opportunity to participate in undergraduate research, where you can test out theories or discover something new.
With us, you can travel to all 7 continents because global learning is at our core.
Want to be more engaged? Join a club or join many. We have more than 130 of them. You can come along as new champions are made. Plus, did we mention our campus is beautiful?
So here's the truth.
Are you making the right choice?
Choose Brockport and the choices will be endless.
Do you know what you want to study?
We have a lot of options, and if you're unsure, don't worry. We'll help you find your passion.
Do you fit here?
How couldn't you?
You'll have countless opportunities on this campus to discover what matters to you. And from the moment you become a Golden Eagle,
You'll be proud to list us on your resume when you're landing that dream job.
You'll be filled with school spirit and enriched by our traditions.
And you'll forever be able to call Brockport home.
because when you're asking yourself what college is right for you, you found it. The answer is SUNY Brockport.
All right. Let me pull up quick presentation. All right, so yes, I'm going to share with you all a little bit more about SUNY Brockport. So we are located in the village of Brockport. We're about 30 minutes west of Rochester, New York. We have our own little cute, quaint village. I say we have a more suburban feel. We have a main street that has every restaurant, shop, anything you could think of, a movie theater. We're right off of the Erie Canal. So it's a nice community that we are located in the village of Brockport. We are a mid-sized school, so about 6,500 undergraduate students. So as a mid-sized school, we're a school that has larger campus opportunities, but a smaller campus feel. So you'll especially get that smaller campus feel within our classroom. Our median class size is only about 23 students, and then our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. So we really try to keep our classes as small and personalized as we possibly can. We also were ranked #1 in SUNY for our student union, our library resources, and our athletic programs. So this was based on the SUNY Student Opinion Survey. So our own students voted for us. They voted for our services that we provided in order to give us this ranking. So we're super proud of that. One thing about SUNY Brockport is that you have a lot of options. So you may not know exactly what you want to major in coming in. Our undeclared major is actually our most popular major coming into Brockport. About 30% of our students come in undeclared. So if you're not exactly sure what you want to do, that's okay. You have time to come in and explore our different majors. However, if you do know what you want to study, we do have 50 majors at Brockport. So there are a lot of choices, there are a lot of different options. The majors that are listed here are our most popular majors. So we do have business administration and plenty of different business programs such as marketing, international business, accounting, finance, and we're working on an economics program as well. We have education. We have both childhood and adolescent education programs. Nursing is definitely our best known and most competitive major here at SUNY Brockport. Most of our students start as a nursing intent major. For your first 2 years, you take the prerequisite courses and then you apply into the nursing program to start your junior and senior years in our nursing school. We have a great criminal justice program. We have a very popular exercise science program. We have physical education, sports management, kinesiology, and exercise science all within our kind of sport studies school. And then we have a great social work program as well. We offer a bachelor's degree in social work and a master's degree in social work. And this is great for students interested in psychology, sociology, or any kind of related fields like that. One thing that I think really makes Brockport unique is our supportive environment on campus. So the faculty and staff are here to support you and help you be successful, especially within our Academic Success Center. So this is a new building. It was just built on campus a few years ago, and it is kind of the central location for academic support services for our students. We do offer tutoring, so we have free tutoring for all students. We have our Student Accessibility Services Office. So for any students with an IEP, 504, any kind of medical needs, mental health needs, if you have depression, anxiety, maybe test anxiety, presentation anxiety, this office can help you be successful in the classroom. We also have our Be First at Bport program. So 21% of students at Brockport are first generation college students. So this program offers mentorship and programs to help these students be successful in their transition to college and through your entire college experience until you walk across that stage at graduation. We also have our Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. This has become a more active office on campus. 30% of students at Brockport identify as an underrepresented minority student. So this office offers a lot of trainings, programming, mentorship opportunities, leadership opportunities to help all of our students really feel included on our campus. My biggest piece of advice to students who are looking to go to college or starting college is to get involved on campus, no matter where you go. At Brockport, we have over 130 different clubs and organizations to get involved with. These can be academic groups, cultural organizations, major-based organizations, Greek life, club sports, intramural sports. Pretty much anything you could think of, we probably have that club. We also have 23 NCAA Division III athletic teams. So there's a lot that you can get involved with. By getting involved, that's where you'll find your family on campus, you'll find your connection to campus, and I guarantee you're going to have a better college experience if you do get involved with clubs, organizations, residence life, athletics, something on campus that you feel that you can connect to. So some of the pictures here, we do have a club craze at the beginning of every semester. So the club craze is where every single club and organization sets up a table, and you can go and talk to them. You can sign up for their email list, find out more about what they do, what they're involved with. So I always recommend signing up for anything that sounds interesting and going to that first club meeting. If you go to the meeting and it's not what you thought it was going to be, you never have to go again. That's totally fine, but you also may find something that you really can connect with. Like I mentioned, we also do have athletics. We really do rally behind our student athletes here on campus. So we have a great athletic program. We also have great fine arts programs. Our dance major is actually a really well-known major, especially within the modern dance world. So if you have a passion for modern dance, then this is a great place to be. And then we also have our Brockport student government. So they put on events pretty much every day of the week for students to go to. So these could be bingo night, movie night, paint night. One of our favorite days on campus is shown in this picture here is called Hot Dog Day. So pretty much we give out free hot dogs, but there's also music, games, celebration. So it's a whole day that the campus comes together and celebrates free hot dogs. So for living on campus, we do have a 2-year residency requirement at Brockport. If you live more than 30 miles away from our campus, you do have to live on campus for your first 2 years. You can choose to move off campus after your sophomore year, or you can stay on campus for all 4 years as well. We do have housing available for all 4 years. We have 19 living learning communities. So what these are opportunities to live near people who have the same major or just general area of interest as you. I always recommend these because I think that they help make your first friends on campus. If you know that someone living down the hall from you is also an exercise science major, or they're also interested in arts, or they're interested in traveling, it helps have those first conversations so you have a topic you can talk about with your neighbors. So I always recommend our living learning communities. We have 4 styles of residence halls. Typically, our first year students will live in corridor style or suite style housing. So the corridor style is kind of the as seen on TV. You have a roommate, and then there's a bathroom down the hallway shared with probably about 20 or so other students. Our suite style is 2 pairs of roommates living in a suite together with a common room and a bathroom within the suite. So you can list which preference you have when you fill out the housing preference form when you come to Brockport. So if you are ready to apply to Brockport, this is our application checklist for any incoming first year students. So to apply through the Common App or the SUNY application, We don't have a preference for either application. You would submit your high school transcript and at least one letter of recommendation from a teacher or a guidance counselor. We are test optional currently, so we will not require SAT or ACT scores. SUNY has announced that this will continue up through fall 2023, so the next cycle as well. We are rolling admissions, so you can apply at any point to SUNY Brockport. We don't necessarily have application deadlines. This also means that we're constantly reviewing applications. So once we have all of your materials, you'll have a decision back within about 2 weeks. So over here in the white section, these are the things that we're looking for in a college application. So we're looking at your GPA. We're looking at your academic rigor. Are you taking challenging courses? Are you taking honors courses, AP courses, college level courses? Especially if, let's say, you're doing really, really well in math. You have 90s, hundreds in your math courses. Are you then challenging yourself and taking that next level? We look at region scores, or at least any that we can see. We understand the regions have been a little finicky for the last few years, so whatever region scores we can see, we'll take a look at. We read your essay. The essay is my favorite part of the application. It's my way to actually get to know you beyond your transcript and beyond your application. So really share your story with us. We look at any extracurriculars. What are you doing outside of school? We look at leadership opportunities. And then we read your letter of recommendation from your teacher or guidance counselor. So we really do look at everything in the application. We're not just looking at your transcript or just looking at one thing. We're looking at every single component of the application. So next we have our cost breakdown. So since we are a SUNY school, we have SUNY tuition. So no matter what SUNY school you look at, that tuition cost is going to be the same. So for in-state students, that's $7,070. Where we differ from other SUNY schools is our room and board and our fees. So room and board is about $14,000. Our fees are about $1,500. So for an in-state student, the total cost per year is about $23,000. I know that's a big number, but there are some ways to bring that down. The first is through financial aid. So applying for federal aid with the FAFSA and state aid with the New York State TAP application. Since we are a SUNY school, we also do have the Excelsior Scholarship. This is free tuition. So that tuition amount there for any families whose adjusted gross income is $125,000 or less. And if you're planning on being a full-time student and you're planning to complete your bachelor's degree within 4 years, you can definitely check out the HESC website for more information on the Excelsior Scholarship as well. We also offer some scholarships here through Brockport. So we do have our merit-based scholarships. We have 2 different levels, our Gold Scholarship and our Green Scholarship. The Gold Scholarship is $4,500 per year. The average GPA to receive this scholarship is a 93, but we do review the applications holistically, so we're looking at everything in the application when we're reviewing for these scholarships. Our Green Scholarship is $2,500. The average GPA is a 90. The only thing with these scholarships is to receive them, you do have to live on campus because they're applied towards room and board, and you do have to maintain a 3.25 GPA while at Brockport. Some other scholarships we offer, we do have an Army ROTC program housed here on our campus, and there are many scholarships offered through that program. We have Brockport Foundation scholarships. So these are sponsored by our alumni and friends of the college. There are over 350 scholarships to apply for, but just one application. So it's a great opportunity to get some extra money. And then there's the New York State STEM Incentive Program, which is for some predetermined STEM majors and careers. So you can definitely look into that as well. And that is all I have about SUNY Brockport.
Thank you. That's great. There's a lot there. I like a few things jump out. I mean, just, you've got sort of the academic success. You address the academic side really well, the Academic Success Center. You've got equity, diversity, and inclusion, but then you also have 130 clubs. So sort of the academics seem well addressed, and the social, which isn't always the case. The number of students jumps out. I mean, if you look across all the SUNYs and really nationwide, that 6,600 and change number, that's a nice in between. I mean, if a lot of our students end up going places that are too big, say a giant state school that's 20 to 50,000,
Mhm.
or then some, or anywhere from on the other end to 1,000 or 2,000 students, they feel like they're still in high school, and that's a fine fit for some. But that you're in a nice sweet spot with that 66. I think you get the best of both worlds. Do you hear that often from your students?
Yeah, a lot of students say that they choose Brockport because of our size, because they wanted to go to a school where they would get that personalized attention in the classroom, but they also wanted to have a college feel. So especially with our athletic programs, our football team, and then everything that we have going on campus, you still get that college feel as if you're at a bigger school, but you also get that personalized attention in the classroom. So it's a really good mix between the two.
Yeah, and Mary, if you want to talk a little bit about, I mean, you're both, recruiters in a sense. So you're, Mary, you're out there, pitching it to athletes like, hey, here's what we have. How do you talk a little bit about what makes it maybe unique, and some of the points you kind of pitch to potential athletes, and then also the ones that come here, why do they love it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially at the Division III level, and retainment, like we always emphasize at first, like, what is your major? Like, what are you thinking? No matter how like good the player is or the athlete, if we don't have your major at the end of the day, it's just not going to be a fit, because we know like what the end goal is here at the end of your 4 years. I always say this, it's rare that our level, like no one's going to the WNBA here. So you're going to leave with a piece of paper and you're going to go on and to, the work field, and you're going to do your thing. So I always start with, what's your interest right now? And some, it's very common that it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm undecided, or like more like general, like business, science, biology, stuff like that. And that's a great jumping point for us, because like Nina said, we have such a wide variety of majors and we have a lot of them. And that's the beautiful thing about SUNY. So I always start there from that point. And I think our location is also really great. Like, as we mentioned, like we're right in between Buffalo and Rochester. So if you kind of want that, city like feel, like to go in and like go like to malls and like outlets and everything like that, or like, go see like pro teams like play in Buffalo, like we have like that opportunity. We're not like super secluded from like a metropolitan area. So location, major, always like, because when you come onto Brockport, like it's the feeling, when you, can I be here? Can I picture myself here? Like, do they have what I need? And then we get into the athletic side of things. And we are a very sporty school. I do feel like you have 23 athletic sports teams. Our majors in the KISP program with, PE. We just moved athletic training to a master's program. So we have like very good opportunities here for athletes, especially who want to pursue a career in sports. So yeah, kind of like those main points. And then obviously we have great facilities, which is the perfect sell for us. Like personally, I think we have one of the best Division III women's locker rooms across the board. Like we have just some great stuff that make the student athlete experience worthwhile.
Yeah, that's we, as you know, Mayor, we have students, all across the country, but there's a lot in sort of the Northeast region that kind of want what you just said. Maybe they're from a smaller town. They don't want to go to Buffalo, but they want to go somewhere in between with this kind of, this moderately sized field that isn't overwhelming. Yeah, and I just love that, you've got this, you've addressed college dropout, which is, it's a big issue. A lot of kids are dropping out, but you address that, sounds like day one when they're on campus, to get them involved, which is huge, because you can sit in your dorm and by yourself, and that's not good, of course.
Right.
You did have one question, and I think the way that student phrased it was, what does it cost after, for you, it's cost after aid, I guess is what they're trying to ask is, you saw that it was a 22 maybe, but then once you get, financial aid and other things, is there like kind of a number, cost after aid for a typical in-state or out?
It really depends on the student and what they're able to receive. So we start with that about $23,000. And then usually kind of go through the process as you'll go through FAFSA and see what kind of aid the federal government will give. They may give some loans, and usually those are the best kinds of loans you can get because they have the lower interest rather than going through a private loan. And then you go through the TAP application to see if you'll get TAP or Pell. And then if you do get the Excelsior scholarship as well, it helps to reduce that tuition cost or completely remove that tuition cost. So yeah, it kind of depends on the student. But the base cost is that $23,000, then it kind of goes down from there as you receive aid from the federal or state government.
Yeah, because we often get that numbers like sticker shock at some schools.
Yeah.
But we're like, hey, after all these, I mean, in some cases, if you came from a family that, didn't have a lot of income and you could get it, you could cut that in half in some cases for sure. Right. Students see that and they get nervous and I'm like, just wait, see what you get, and then make a decision. But that's a pretty good number comparatively speaking. So that's encouraging. So tell us just a little about where the students are from. I know, so percentage of New Yorkers, and then maybe just, where else you get students from.
Yeah, so most of our students are from New York State since we are a SUNY school. I think about 30 to 40% of our students are local. So they are from Monroe County and then the counties surrounding Monroe County. Probably another 30 to 40% are from New York City, Long Island, and downstate. And then the rest kind of scatter throughout the rest of the state. We also do see some students from New Jersey, from Pennsylvania, from Ohio. So we do have some out-of-state students. I think our dance program recruits in California. So we do have some California students. Our meteorology program recruits in Michigan. So we have some students from Michigan here as well. But yeah, majority of our students are from New York State.
Yeah, Mary, I know your team you get players from a lot of different places. And I talk a little bit about that. And I think the value of, we have students in a lot of rural areas, from rural Texas to upstate New York to rural Georgia. And some of them haven't really been exposed to diversity. So it's a new thing for them, and it's an important thing. And your team is diverse, the school is diverse. Talk a little bit about the way you do, because Mary, you're in the trenches. I mean, you're working with kids day one on helping them be successful, and talk a little bit maybe about some of the things that you teach, essential skills or advice you might have for potential college students that would go there. What are some things that they can work on now to equip themselves so when they do get there, they are successful, but also get this nice, broad, diverse student body?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so we have a player from Ohio, Long Island, and your average farm girls. So everything in between, diverse, racial, different backgrounds, sexual orientation. We're a very diverse squad, from staff all the way down. And so yeah, we do, and it's intentional. We purposely recruit diversity, and we think it is very important to the fact that even on the athletic side of things, we have a student athlete for equity club. So it's our SAFE club, which is actually ran by our head coach, Corinne Jones. And it is we get different reps from different teams, and we talk about like on campus, like what we can do like on our side to promote and emphasize like equity and inclusion. And we intentionally put some of our student athletes, like personally on our team, that we think might need a little bit more exposure. Like our farm girl sophomore that just came in. Yep, you're gonna be in SAFE this year. We're gonna intentionally expose you and stuff like that. So we think it's very important. And as for skills, like tied to that, we know that like leadership, for like that's a big role with like leadership, like with that skill of inclusion and listening, like being a listener at first, and then moving up to maybe being more of someone with a voice. So we definitely develop leadership as much as we do look for in the recruiting process. It's always in development. I think throughout your 4 years of college, non-athlete and athlete. when I worked at CFES, I always loved the mental agility essential skill. I just think it's so huge. I know, like we talk about in athletics, the physical agility, like going from, cutting and spot to spot, but the mental agility, being able to think on your toes and being aware of like what could happen, always having a plan B, I think is huge at in higher education, because especially in these times where it's like, oh, like you have a Zoom class today, it was supposed to be in person, or, professor is sick, you got to do this. So you got a pool test this week, and, different protocols, things like different, policies changing here, always just being aware and like being ready to roll with the punches. And then perseverance, I also would think was a great one. Sometimes students come onto campus and, they go home for winter session. They're like, this isn't for me. Like, I thought like I wanted this, but I don't want this. But having the perseverance to just be like, nope, like I chose SUNY Brockport, I chose this, like, I'm going to stick with this because, and then throwing goal setting in there, like, this is my goal, this is my end goal. And I know that pushing through this is going to get me the result that I wanted. So yeah, lots of stuff there.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, you think of it's kind of like a microcosm of what real life will be when you're out. So it's like you come from a small town, maybe you go there and you are exposed to some diversity and you meet new friends, and then wherever it is you go off to, you feel comfortable, and it's a huge thing. What are some of the if you think about it's kind of the end result. Parents are like, well, if I'm going to spend all this money, I want them to have a job, and totally get that. I think kind of your diversity of majors is an important thing, because I think the liberal arts education in many ways is really important, because it's giving you a lot of different skills. Yes, you should have a career path because you are focusing on it. But what are, like, do you hear much from alums, they spend 4 years there, you're preparing them for life in many ways, and then they go forth. Where do a lot of them go? Do you hear, I've talked to some, and there does seem to be a little bit of, this passion. I mean, people that go there, a lot of them seem to love it. When they talk about it, they're not like, no, I like it. They're like, no, I loved it. It was great. And then it prepared me to move on. So talk a little bit about, where students go, jobs they get, and what you hear back later.
Yeah, so I think it depends on the field a lot, but I think the key thing that we hear from alumni is that it's important to get that experience while you're here. So not just passively learning and sitting in the classroom and listening to a lecture. It's important to get involved with those research experiences with your faculty members, or get an internship, or do a shadowing experience, because that's what will launch your next steps into your career. So kind of advocating for yourself and advocating for your own success to make sure that you're kind of getting the experiences that you want in your undergrad to then be successful afterwards. So for example, we have a student, Bree Michaels. She graduated in 2008. She was in our public broadcasting program. She got an internship at Brockport through ESPN. And then was able to kind of climb up through that after she graduated. And she's now ESPN's first female Steadicam operator. So those huge cameras that you see them operating, she was the first woman to ever operate one for ESPN. And she's really become an inspiration to other women, and is trying to get other women to go into that field, since it is kind of a male-dominated field. But she got her first experience through an internship that she had through her program at SUNY Brockport. So yes, we hear a lot of stories like that, of people who got these experiences or made connections while they were here at Brockport that then launched them into their careers.
Yeah, it's a great example. And I know, Mary, we had, with the women in athletics panel we just had with the head coach, your head coach, talk about the opportunities for, women stepping into fields that traditionally they haven't been had access to. And it seems like that's something that they talk passionately about it. And what you just said, Nina, I think that says a lot about, your focus and what you care about there. We have a couple questions about students essentially saying they're not sure that they're ready for college, or that they can handle it. And that's a great question. It's a big question, but I don't know, how would you know if you're ready? I mean, some kids can't wait to go. They're prepared, they're driven, their parents have talked about it since they're 2. Others, it's never come up. And all of a sudden they're like, I want to go, but I don't think I'm college material. I think everybody, I don't think that, I think everybody's college material. You got to find the right place. But I think kids, sort of this imposter syndrome, I'm not ready, I don't deserve it. Even Mary, like as you move up, and I've had other friends who sort of moved up career-wise and they get a promotion, they're like, God, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't think I can handle it. And then they get in it, and whether it's fake it till you make it or they work really hard and keep going. I think, a lot of our students do suffer from, they just don't have the confidence, but I believe they can handle it. What is it how would someone, any advice you might have or something you could tell them that, you are, and when you get here, there's things that can help you once you are?
I think for me, my biggest piece of advice is first, I kind of talked about it, but for students to advocate for themselves. So, once you get here, you're not necessarily going to have people reaching out and checking in on you and seeing if you're doing well in classes and seeing if you're adjusting well. You kind of have to have a sense of yourself and knowing that you need to reach out and ask for help. So if you are mentally struggling, reaching out and going to our counseling center and talking with a counselor. If you're struggling academically, reaching out to our academic success center and getting tutoring and getting the help that you need, and being proactive rather than, you failed classes and then now you're trying to bring your GPA back up and you wish you would have asked for help your first semester. So I think anybody could be successful in college as long as you are asking for help and you are advocating for yourself, and seeking out support services, because that's one difference between high school and college, is that in high school you have people who are there to guide you and to help you, where you're kind of on your own in college. So as long as you're able to do that, then I think you're able to find success.
Yeah, absolutely. I have totally agree with the self advocacy. You don't know what you don't know, and you come to college and you find out, like, is this for me? Is this place for me? Is this major for me? I think college is the 4 years of the trial of adulthood. You learn that you should probably wash your sheets every couple of weeks, or, every now and then. You learn those skills that maybe you didn't know in high school. And, at this point, you're 18 and, mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa can't call up, SUNY Brockport and be like, hey, did, so-and-so get their 504 into the accessibility center? That's not their role anymore. You have to, Nina said, be the one, advocating for yourself and taking, you're the driver in your education now. You made the choice to come, you chose this major. If it's not for you, okay, so it's you now seeking resources and the people that are gonna help you with, your process now. So yeah, definitely. And the time management piece, I think, is huge too. What's nice about college is, you could have a 9:30 class and then you might have a night class at 6:30. It's not like high school where you're just in that block of, 7 hours and you're going from class period, the bell rings, next one, bang, bang, bang. You have time, and it's what you do and how you're efficient with your time, and how you're filling it, whether you're going to the gym, when are you going to eat, and all that stuff. And you get into a routine and you do learn what works and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we ask students I'll just say, how many classes do you think you have in college? And they'll be like, 8 a day. I'm like, yeah, no, it's 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, really? Now that sounds great to them, but but to your point, you do need to, time management's key, especially as an athlete. But I mean, you can't just hang out and do nothing between those classes. That said, I sometimes feel like we emphasize this too much. And when we used to do college tours at the University of Vermont, and sometimes I think administrators and others can get a little bit fixated on these are the majors you have to take. You must, very, rigid. How about college is a lot of fun? People don't say that. That's 4 years I've had. I mean, honestly, between the social activities and, nightlife, whatever it is, there's so much to do, and it's there's no other time in life that you're going to have this opportunity, because you're going to be working, and you might be working in college as well, of course, but I'd love to, we're a little bit up on time, but just to talk about like, somebody coming there, why would they enjoy it? What is it about it that makes it fun and interesting? And maybe we used to do a day in the life feature. So we'd spend 24 hours and go around and talk to students and just what it was like. And we'd show that to students and they're like, wow, that's really what it's like. It's just hard for them to get their head around it. But talk about maybe, the advantages and fun aspects of going to school there.
Yeah, so I think one of the main reasons, another reason why students say that they choose Brockport is because it feels like home. It's a very just comforting place. It's a very familiar place. It's not like you're traveling between campuses to get from one end to the other. It's all right here. Everybody's right here. Your professors are right here. Your friends are right here. So yeah, I think there are a lot of fun aspects of college. I mean, personally, college changed my entire life and set me on a whole new path that I never even knew was possible when I first got to Geneseo. And I absolutely love my job and I love this career that I have found that I wouldn't have found if I hadn't gone to college and if I hadn't gotten involved with a lot of different things that I did in school. So yeah, I think you'll find a lot of fun in the friends that you make and getting to live on campus and you're living right next to your best friends. And you'll have no other opportunity to do that other than at college. And everybody's going through that same experience as you. Every single first year student is also looking to make new friends. And they're all right next to you. So it's really easy to kind of find those connections and then joining clubs and organizations and just finding your passion and then getting to do that every day is a really incredible experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like finding your social like niche, with your group and your peers. So that is like when you go out to college, from, a school of maybe 150 to that, 6,000 plus number, like meeting different people and I found my best friends in college and Brockport, I just feel like we're a college town. Like there's stuff to do. You got your local pizza joint and everything that you can imagine and all within walking distance. And like Nina said, we are like very centralized. You can just walk over to the gym from your dorm and like catch a game or, to the theater and catch a show. So it just has a home vibe. And as like a person personally from a rural town, I can absolutely see why like people call this home. And I know like personally speaking for like, the 14 student athletes I coach, they call it home. Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it. I mean, you've done such a good job at sort of the nuts and bolts and here's what's there, but you just get this feeling of what it's like as best you can virtually. Of course, we'd love kids to go visit. They could reach out. That'd be okay if they reached out to you all and if they have interest in it to come for a visit or questions, they could follow up. Is that okay, email wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm our campus visit coordinator at Brockport. So if you ever want to come for a visit to campus, let us know. Our website has all of our visit opportunities. We have a lot of different opportunities coming up. We also have virtual information sessions. So if you're not able to make it out to Brockport, but want to learn a little bit more virtually, you could do that as well. But yeah, we're open for visits Monday through Friday. This semester, we're offering tours at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And then we do have some Saturday sessions as well if you want to come out on the weekend. So yeah, definitely reach out if you want to come visit campus.
Okay, I know I do. I'll see if I can get some schools to have an excuse to bring them.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. And Mary, we appreciate it as always. Good luck tonight.
Thank
You got
you.
a big game. And so, yeah, thanks again. And we will stay in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Appreciate it.